Hello, everyone. Today, we're diving into the thrilling recruitment landscape that's shaping up for Kentucky. Trust me, the only thing scary about this is how our rivals will feel. Let's take a closer look at some prospects on Coach Pope's radar. But first, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. Mikael Murin is quickly establishing himself as a top name in the 2026 basketball recruiting class, catching particular attention from the Kentucky Wildcats basketball program, under the guidance of Coach Mark Pope. Ranked 68th overall and 14th among power forwards in his class, Murin has garnered attention not just for his impressive height, but especially for his versatility on the court, which aligns perfectly with Pope's playing philosophy at Kentucky. Murin demonstrates a fluidity on both ends of the court that few players his age can show. Although he is still adapting to the U.S. style of play, he is starting to show greater consistency in his offensive game, a critical point for his development. The ability to balance his performance on defense and offense could make him a key player for any elite college basketball team. Pope, known for identifying and developing such talent, clearly sees immense potential in Murin, putting the power forward in a privileged position on Kentucky's radar. The connection between Murin and the Kentucky program was further strengthened after he met Coach Pope personally during the professional day at Arizona Campus Prep. This meeting led to a great conversation between them, seemingly cementing their mutual interest. For Pope, who has been central to the Wildcats' rebuilding process, recruiting players like Murin is crucial. His dynamic playing style and ability to excel at both ends of the court make Murin a recruit who could elevate the team's competitive level. Originally, Murin was scheduled to visit Kentucky's campus this weekend, but the visit has been postponed due to overlapping visits from two other recruits from the 2025 class, Caleb Wilson and Micah Brown. However, Murin's visit will be rescheduled soon, indicating that Kentucky's interest in his recruitment is far from cooling. This ongoing engagement with Pope and the plan for a future visit suggests that the Wildcats are keenly interested in securing a signature from one of the top 25 players of the 2026 class. Pope's approach to Murin reflects a clear strategy he has employed over the years: recruit players who, beyond technical talent, can quickly adapt to Kentucky's demanding playing scheme. Murin, with his defensive potential and growing offensive consistency, is the type of power forward that could thrive in this system, and Pope clearly recognizes this. Since taking the helm, he has prioritized players who can impact the game on multiple fronts, and Murin fits this profile perfectly. With a patient approach, Pope seems to be building a solid foundation for the program's future, and Murin's potential addition would only reinforce this upward trajectory. The fact that the player canceled his original visit due to other recruitment commitments should not be seen as a sign of disinterest, but rather as a strategic rearrangement, typical of the intense pace that college basketball recruitment demands. Furthermore, Murin's visit on a future date could provide Kentucky with a chance to dedicate more attention to him and his development plans. The Wildcats are already competing in a recruitment landscape filled with star talent, and securing a talent like Murin would be a strategic coup for Pope, especially considering the immediate impact he could have on the program. Recruitment is heating up, and to bolster the Kentucky Wildcats roster, Coach Mark Pope is eyeing five-star center Chris Cenak from the 2025 class. Ranked number 16 overall and the top center of his class, Cenak has already emerged as one of the major talents for the next recruiting cycle and is precisely the type of player Pope aims to elevate the Kentucky program to new heights. Cenak already possesses the physical build suitable for future NBA prospects, making him a central figure not only for Kentucky, but for other major college basketball programs as well. His potential impact on Mark Pope's scheme is evident. Offensively, he fits perfectly into the profile Pope prefers in his frontcourt players. Cenak is not only capable of running the floor well, which is crucial for a fast and agile transition game, but he also has a rare ability to shoot from both inside and beyond the perimeter. This versatility allows the coach to explore different tactical options, creating challenges for opposing defenses who will have to contend with a center capable of stretching the floor with his shooting while also dominating in back-to-the-basket play. Another standout feature is Cenak's game vision. In addition to being a scoring threat, he can also distribute the ball effectively to his teammates. This type of basketball intelligence, especially for a front-court player, is an attribute that can elevate any team's level. It's exactly this kind of versatile talent that Mark Pope seeks to build a competitive team. Despite these undeniable offensive qualities, Cenak's defensive development is still an area that needs more work. While he has the size and physique necessary to protect the rim and contest rebounds, it's clear there's room for improvement in his defensive consistency. Under Pope's guidance and his coaching staff, it's expected that Cenak will further develop his defensive skills and become a reliable rim protector, adding immense value to the Wildcats program. It's worth noting that the recent commitment of Mikael Murin, another promising four-star center from the 2025 class, hasn't diminished Kentucky's interest in Cenak. In fact, there's an understanding within the program that the two players can coexist in the same offensive scheme, as their skills complement each other uniquely. Moreno, a player with a strong physical presence and inside game skills, could form a formidable duo alongside Cenak, whose versatility would create opportunities for both to shine. Cenak is scheduled to visit Lexington on September 27th and 28th, where he will be joined by another top prospect from the 2025 class, five-star guard Mikael Brown. This period is crucial for Pope and his team, who are looking to secure impactful commitments to build a solid foundation for the future of the Wildcats. Cenak's visit to Kentucky is just the first of several strategic stops for the player, who will also visit Tennessee, Auburn, and LSU in the following weeks. This marathon of visits underscores the high interest the center commands from top programs, placing Kentucky in fierce competition for his commitment. With the strong tradition of the Kentucky Wildcats, coupled with Mark Pope's ability to develop NBA-caliber players, the program is in a favorable position. Pope has shown a knack for recruiting players who adapt well to the modern game, and the team is committed to seeking out these talents. Cenak's visit to Lexington promises to be a pivotal moment in this recruitment race, and the Kentucky technical staff is prepared to showcase why the Wildcats continue to be a leading powerhouse in college basketball. Game on, and we're all rooting for this recruitment. The spotlight is now shining brightly on Mikael Brown, ranked 12th overall and the second-best point guard in his class. Brown has captured attention nationwide for his complete game and mastery of both playmaking and scoring, with Kentucky reportedly positioned as the early favorite to secure his commitment. Brown exemplifies the modern point guard, boasting excellent ball control and remarkable court vision. These attributes make him not just a facilitator for his teammates, but also a player who can dictate the pace of a game. Point guards with these capabilities are incredibly valuable in college basketball and align well with the tactical scheme Mark Pope implements at Kentucky. Brown's ability to orchestrate the offense and maintain offensive fluidity is precisely what Pope looks for in his system, a point emphasized during the coach's visit to the DME Academy in Daytona to see the young talent in action. Pope and his team are not just impressed with Brown's playmaking skills. Beyond being a cerebral point guard, Brown has also shown significant scoring ability, particularly with his efficiency in three-point shooting. During this summer's Adidas circuit, he converted over 40% of his long-range attempts, proving he could be a lethal perimeter threat when needed. This blend of court vision and scoring ability makes him a valuable asset for any tactical setup, but especially for Pope's, which values versatile players capable of performing multiple roles within a dynamic system. Pope's confidence in Brown was evident during their discussions. The Kentucky coach expressed that he sees Brown as a perfect fit for the style of play the Wildcats are looking to implement in the coming seasons. A point guard who can control the game's pace, engage his teammates, and simultaneously pose a constant threat around the perimeter is exactly what Pope needs to keep his system running efficiently. The connection between Brown and Kentucky's system seems to be strengthening with every step. As Kentucky emerges as a favorite in his recruitment, the continual presence of Pope and his team in the observation and evaluation process of Brown suggests a serious commitment to securing the point guard for the Wildcats' future. The mutual interest is evident, and Brown also perceives the opportunity at Kentucky as an ideal setting for the development of his game and career aspirations, both in college basketball and eventually at the professional level. The prospect of having a cerebral and dependable point guard like Mikael Brown leading the Wildcats' offense in the coming seasons excites both Pope and Kentucky fans, who are eager to see the team reclaim its dominance. Point guards like Mikael Brown, who possess the right combination of game control, court vision, and scoring capability, are rare, and Pope knows how crucial securing such a talent would be for the program's future. With Brown at the helm of the offense, the Wildcats would have a player who can completely transform the team dynamics, elevating the level of play both in transition and in half-court settings. Mark Pope's visit to Daytona to see Brown in action underscores how invested the coach is in securing players who not only fit into his system, but also have the potential to make a significant difference in the medium and long term. Let's move forward. Caleb Wilson, the power forward ranked number 4 overall and number 2 in his position in the class of 2025, is the kind of talent that can make a significant difference in a college basketball program. With the ideal profile of a modern player, Wilson possesses the size and athletic ability that coaches desire to transform a team. His offensive skill, although still raw in certain areas, shows incredible potential. This potential is precisely what makes him one of the most coveted recruits in the country, and it's no surprise that Mark Pope, leading the Kentucky Wildcats, is paying special attention to him. Pope made a point of visiting Wilson in Atlanta, underscoring the Wildcats' coach's commitment to securing this talent for Kentucky. Pope's visit coincided with that of John Calipari, who was also in the city with the same goal. The fact that both coaches were present in the same place highlights the intense competition for Wilson's commitment. Calipari, with his long history of successfully recruiting top talent for Kentucky, has clearly been interested in the player for some time, having hosted Wilson on a visit to the university last season. Despite Kentucky's strong presence in the race for Caleb Wilson, Arkansas's favoritism cannot be ignored, emerging as the main competitor. The Razorbacks are also making a significant effort to secure the power forward. Arkansas's connection with Wilson is solid, and many analysts point to the program as the most likely destination for the recruit, especially due to the long-term relationship that has already been established. Nevertheless, Kentucky is not giving up without a fight. In recent months, Mark Pope's team has intensified its efforts to firmly position itself in the contest. Wilson's official visit to Lexington this weekend is a clear sign that the Wildcats continue to believe they can turn the situation in their favor. Kentucky, with its rich history and the promise of development under Pope, offers an environment that could be irresistible to any recruit aspiring to reach the next level in basketball. Wilson is the prototype of the modern power forward. With his combination of size, strength, and technical skills, he can operate both on the perimeter and inside, consistently creating mismatches for opposing defenses. His ability to handle the ball and create opportunities for himself and his teammates makes him a highly versatile player. And it is precisely this kind of versatility that Mark Pope seeks to incorporate into his system at Kentucky. Furthermore, Wilson has impressive athletic ability, which makes him a nightmare in fast transitions and plays where he can finish authoritatively near the basket. The development of his long-distance shooting is another aspect that catches the coach's eyes, including Pope, who sees in Wilson a potential player capable of stretching the opposing defense with his outside shot. However, despite all the optimism surrounding Wilson's potential arrival at Kentucky, the reality is that the competition for his signature is fierce. The long-standing relationship that John Calipari has with the player cannot be overlooked. Will Pope still manage to bring this guy in? Regardless of who manages to secure Caleb Wilson, it's clear that he will be a name to watch in the coming years. His combination of skills and raw potential makes him a key piece for any team that adds him to its roster. If Kentucky can convince Wilson that the Wildcats program is the best path for his development and success, the impact would be immediate. With Mark Pope at the helm, Kentucky is building a solid and promising foundation for the coming years, and adding Wilson to the team would be quite interesting. And have you hit the subscribe button on the channel yet? Let's move forward. Brillan Mullins, ranked 73rd overall and the 13th best shooting guard in the class of 2025, is widely recognized as one of the top shooters in the country. His ability to convert long-distance shots has put him on the radar of major college basketball teams, and it's no surprise that Coach Mark Pope has shown strong interest in recruiting him. Mullins perfectly fits the offensive scheme that Pope wants to implement at Kentucky, where the freedom to shoot and the volume of three-point attempts are key features. Mullins' ability to knock down shots from beyond the perimeter is precisely what makes him a coveted piece in modern basketball. As the game increasingly shifts towards spacing and long-range shooting, players like Mullins have become even more valuable. Few college programs can offer the kind of offensive freedom and high volume of three-point shots that Kentucky does, which naturally makes the Wildcats one of the most attractive destinations for a shooter like Mullins. Under Mark Pope's leadership, Kentucky has positioned itself as a team that values players who can stretch the floor and enhance offensive potential from the perimeter. However, the recruiting landscape for Mullins has recently changed, particularly after the commitment of Jasper Johnson, another highly rated shooting guard. With Johnson's arrival, Mullins' spot in Kentucky's rotation might have become more uncertain. While Mullins remains in the Wildcats' plans, the pace of his recruitment has significantly slowed. This strategic shift by Kentucky raises questions about how Pope plans to integrate two players with similar skills into the same system. One concern comes from Mullins' father, who has expressed doubts about the ability of his son and Johnson to play together at Kentucky. With two high-quality players in the same position, there's always a risk of competition for playing time and opportunities to stand out in the system. For a player like Mullins, known for his confidence in shooting, ensuring a sufficient volume of attempts is crucial for his production and development. Johnson's presence, also a talented shooter and offensive promise, could create a challenging situation for both to excel simultaneously. Despite these uncertainties, Mullins and his family still plan to visit Kentucky and listen carefully to the team's plan for the young player. Mark Pope, known for his ability to manage talents and develop players with similar profiles, will have the opportunity to reassure Mullins and his family about how he could be effectively used in the Wildcat system. Additionally, Pope can present the vision of how Mullins and Johnson could coexist, utilizing their complementary skills to elevate Kentucky's offensive level. Even with the slowdown in recruitment from Kentucky's side, the door isn't completely closed for Mullins. The planned visit to Lexington will be crucial for Pope and his team to articulate a convincing plan that allows Mullins to see his role in the future of the Wildcats. Kentucky, with its tradition of developing elite shooters, remains an attractive option, especially for a player like Mullins, who seeks an environment where he can maximize his shooting opportunities and grow as a player. However, Kentucky is not alone in the race for Mullins. Two other major forces in college basketball, UConn and Indiana University, are also heavily involved in his recruitment. Both programs represent significant threats to Kentucky, with UConn offering a rich tradition of recent success and IU being a top program in the Big Ten, with a strong local base that could be appealing to Mullins. These universities have the capacity to offer Mullins an essential role, and his final decision will depend on how he views the balance between internal competition and playing opportunities. UConn, in particular, stands out as a strong competitor, especially after its recent achievements on the national stage. UConn's success in developing players and its current team structure make the program a very attractive option for a shooter like Mullins, who seeks an environment where he can make an immediate impact. On the other hand, Indiana also offers a more familiar route, with a Big Ten-based program providing Mullins a chance to shine on one of college basketball's biggest stages. Here at Kentucky, we have Pope with all his strategic performance in forming players. And do you think he can come? Comment. And at the end of the video, subscribe to the channel. It's important for the channel.